Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us on the 6/15 edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. We'll begin with our top stories. In a shocking and gruesome incident in Yaoundé, the body of a woman identified as CV Luzette Ngo Yebel Afonga, a journalist at the communication department of Comifac, was discovered dismembered and stuffed into 2 suitcases in the Tour Mingi neighborhood. The body parts were separated into tubers, waist downwards, arms and legs. We'll tell you more in this edition of Newscast. And mobile telephone operators have been given up to 60 days to submit an updated identification list of all subscribers in the far north, northwest, southwest regions or face the heavy arms of the law. And Cameroon's professional football championships are seemingly irregular when it comes to regularizing remunerations for key actors, for players. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. Welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. We begin on a sad note. The body of a woman identified as CV Luzette Ngo Yebel Fonga, a journalist at the communication department of Comifac, was discovered dismembered and stuffed into 2 suitcases in the Tour Megi neighborhood. The body parts were separated into the tubers, waist downward, arms and legs. Authorities swiftly removed the remains from the scene. Reports indicates that CV Luzette Ngo Yebel had gone missing prior to the grim discovery. Further investigations unveiled that she was allegedly kidnapped by her own son following a dispute. This son, in his 20s, had reportedly a student at the NAM, had previously been involved in the killing of his grandmother. Though this information had remained within the family, the son has been apprehended by the law enforcement, although he denies any involvement in the mother's death. The investigation into this horrific crime is ongoing, with more details expected to emerge in subsequent editions of our newscast. And residents of Ange Raphael, Bepanda, Monaco, and Kamiabasi can now finally breathe a sigh of relief as 3 young men allegedly involved in criminal activities and robberies targeting various establishments, including mobile transfer services, have been apprehended by the Douala to gendarmerie. More in the following story. Visible scars from knife wounds still mark Ruth's Tobet's arms, a painful reminder of the attack she endured at the end of January. As the proprietor of the money transfer service, she became a prime target for these individuals who made off with 2.5 million francs CFA.
À 7h30, je montais pour ouvrir mon kiosque Orange Money et apparemment ils étaient là pour m'attendre.
Following her complaint, the Douala to Gendarmerie investigative unit sprung into action. A trap was set, leading to the apprehension of the suspects.
L'enquête ouverte à cet effet nous a permis d'interpeller le nommé Mafout Jean-Baptiste, alias Zépé, Boussou Lucien, alias Sako, et Ombien Antoine.
The commander of the Douala 2 Investigative Brigade, Adjutant Chef Jean-Eric Siefang, spearheaded the operation.
Terminé. Ok.
The interrogation of the suspects reveals a trail of other crimes. On March 30th, a robbery of Kamiabasi resulted in the theft of 360,000 francs CFA and mobile phones. Prior to that, another store owned by a Nigerian national was robbed of 1.1 million francs CFA and valuables.
Ils ont entré chez moi avec le couteau et les machettes. Ils m'ont arrêté sur le cou, ils m'ont tiré dedans, entré dans la boutique. Ils ont mis la main, ils ont retiré tout ce que j'ai.
The subsequent raids on their hideouts in the Commando neighborhood yielded a significant cache of weapons, prompting a call for public collaboration. Acting company commander of Douala 2, Lieutenant Danny Meke Bitutu, emphasized the ongoing pursuit of the remaining gang members while the apprehended suspects await their appearance before the military tribunal in Douala. The gendarmerie remains vigilant, ensuring the safety and security of the community while actively pursuing those responsible for criminal activities. And mobile telephone operators have been given up to 60 days to submit an updated identification list of all subscribers in the far north, northwest, and southwest regions of the country or face the heavy arms of the law. The warning is born from security reports in most terrorist groups are using their platforms to extort money, their kidnappings, and ransom without trace because they are unidentified. More on the story with our reporter, Beatrice Ngamo.
Over 300 million CFA francs have been collected from Cameroonians via kidnappings and ransom payments in the northwest, southwest, and far north regions by the separatists and terrorists, protecting people and property, the obligation of the state.
How those people who are in the bushes can obtain SIM cards, 10, 15, 20, we have identified more than 450 SIM cards circulating amongst the terrorists in these regions.
But unfortunately, the security forces are unable to do so because in the course of investigation, they always reach a dead end. The numbers cannot be traced as the actors are not identified. For once mission is accomplished, they do away with the SIM cards. To put a stop to all this, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paula Tanganji, gave this order and warning.
In a period of 60 days, MTN management and Orange management, you have to clearly identify all your collaborators in those regions and update us with all the telephone numbers. If you have sold 100 SIM cards to somebody in the central market, when you come for your own control, internal control, that person should give you all the ID cards, implying that all the customers were clearly identified before they took the phone numbers. So within this period of 60 days, I can tell you clearly that you have to put your things properly. Otherwise, you will face serious sanctions. We cannot jeopardize the security of the state.
This against the backdrop that it is hindering efforts in place for peace to return to these crisis-ridden regions of Cameroon.
And into another bustling streets are now quiet as road closures due to ongoing construction projects have disrupted the flow of commerce. Small businesses along the affected routes, such as those in Ndokoti and Apeka areas, are feeling the pinches as economic activities slow down. More in the following story. It's a reminiscence of a ghost town within Douala as a stretch between Ndokoti and Apeka 10 grinds to a halt. The concrete barriers constructing the roads necessary for the ongoing rehabilitation efforts have effectively halted vehicular traffic. Since the inception of urban road rehabilitation works in Douala, economic activities have taken a hit for many operators. Ever since the road is blocked here, customers don't come around. It's difficult. In a situation like this, deliveries of goods is a hard thing to have. At the same time, we are paying taxes. The once vibrant area suddenly falling into slumber. Closed shops, deserted snack bars, and dry watering holes paints a snack picture with few customers inside. Residents remain vocal in their discontent over such initiatives. They begin work at 8 a.m. and end sometimes around 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. They would have engaged in the road constructions, but doing it section by section. There are just no roads, just small paths. Despite the despair, some proprietors are looking towards the future. They believe that where the road goes, development follows. When the roads are blocked because of ongoing construction works, at the end of the day, it's a good thing. We might be suffering now, but tomorrow will be better. Just that the ongoing construction rather slows down economic activities. Numerous main arteries have been closed for these, turning the city with little fanfare into a widespread construction site. Many perceive these as the onset of a political campaign tied for the 2025 presidential election. Renowned Ivorian political figure and leader of the Pan-African Congress for Justice and Equality of Peoples, COJEP, Charles Blé Agoude, as part of his one-week stay in Cameroon, met with the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji Monday in Yaoundé. His way of showing gratitude to the hospitality and support he got from Cameroon during his years of exile, trial and jail opportunity for the former military leader acquitted for crimes against humanity by the International Criminal Court in The Hague to spend a mission of Pan-Africanism shakes experience in conferences and debates. Yes, an excerpt of Charles Blé Agoude at the end of the audience with Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji. We're sorry you can't have that, except we'll move on something else. Joshua Ossie, the newly elected chairman of the Social Democratic Front Party, has embarked on a nationwide tour, beginning with the far north region of Cameroon, accompanied by all members of the National Executive Committee. NEC Ossie assessed the party's health and outlined strategies to strengthen its presence ahead of future elections. More in the following story.
SDF, fighting for our freedom, in the name of social justice we shall conquer.
In his inaugural stop in Marwa, the chairman of the Social Democratic Front Party, Joshua Ossie, along with the entire NEC, conducted an evaluation of the party's status. They strategized on how to effectively navigate the political landscape in preparation for upcoming elections. Also emphasized the need to capitalize on the untapped potential of the Far North region, which has historically been overlooked and underdeveloped.
Ce que nous voulons, c'est que quand on arrive ici en 2025, quand on entre dans cette même salle, tous ceux qui sont assis là, que vous tous là, qu'on se met à faire à des maires, à des députés.
Mahama Buka, the regional president of the party, expressed optimism about Joshua Ossie's leadership and its potential impact on both the party's growth and the development of the Far North region. Ossie engaged in discussions with the region's youth, sharing his political vision and agenda for progress. Additionally, he paid courtesy visits to local dignitaries, including the Lamido of Marwa, extending his congratulations and respect. Following the activities in Marwa, the delegation proceeded to Garwa, continuing the engagement with local communities and leaders as part of their tour. This tour marks a significant moment for the SDF as it seeks to strengthen its presence and address the needs of Cameroon's diverse regions.
In the name of social justice we shall conquer.
Celestin Tawamba has been elected as the president of Cameroon's Employers Association, GECAM, with a 97% of votes. With an overwhelming 97% of the votes, Celestin Tawamba has been finally elected as a new president of the Cameroon Employers Association, GECAM. His victory was secured at the elective General Assembly that held at the headquarters of the merged entity in Douala on April 9, July 2024, where his list received widespread endorsement as the top choice. Tawamba, advocating for a stronger and more inclusive association comprising of over 2,000 enterprises and associations, has a pledge to lead with determination and efficiency. We'll come back to that in our subsequent editions of newscasts. And Cameroon's professional football championships are seemingly irregular when it comes to regularizing remunerations for the key actors, the players. The National Union of Footballers of Cameroon, SINA, FAC, has revealed that only 4 clubs regularly pay players a salary. More with our reporter, Kize Kiga.
The Cameroon Union of Footballers, SNAFOC, says only 4 teams playing in the Elite 1, Elite 2 and Women's Super League have regularly paid their players' salaries on time. They include Cotton Sport of Garoua, Dynamo of Douala, Victoria United and Stade Renard of Melon. Inside here, we can see red for those clubs not paying at all. Yellow for those that pay averagely. Green is for those who pay well. We see the 4 columns in green. They are those who have paid their players.
Les primes de match, les primes d'entraînement.
It says the situation is even more alarming in the Guinness Super League, where female players have not received salaries since January.
Depuis le mois de janvier,
the situation of the Guinness Super League is even worse. Since January, no player has been paid. No one has earned a single franc. That is in the months of January, February and March. This one is unacceptable. In the Elite 2 Championship, no club is up to date with salary payments. Henceforth, SNAFOC plans to involve competent authorities to enforce judgments against defaulting clubs.
And that's how we saw it on this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. And coming up next is the brief with Lil Peugeot with me. Take another rendezvous exactly 6:15. Same time.